So today at 41 Garage, we're going to fix the AC on this Cherokee. Hey, welcome to 41 Garage. If you like Jeeps, going on adventures, and occasionally throwing something on the grill, then this is the place for you. So hit that subscribe button right now. We don't have any gas in here right now because we changed out the compressor, and when we did, we weren't getting the right readings on the meter. So we never actually charged it up. So in order to get this grill off, we're going to start by taking these Torx bolts off. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and it is a Torx 30. So let's do that. Okay, those are all out. And we're going to move to the front. So one thing I forgot to mention is in this area here, there's a cooling fan that we had already taken out when we were working on the compressor. So if you're just, you'll need to take that out also. This is what all that is. This is for the battery tray. That's something we had taken out earlier also. But here's for the cooling fan I was talking about. Okay, now I'm trying to get behind these headlights. Try to show you what we're going to do next. Got these screws here, we're going to pull those out. Okay. So I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like you use zip ties to hold that bottom piece in on this. So I'm going to get those cut and pull this off. Okay, so now we're going to take these off. These are all 10 millimeter. Okay, now we're going to take the turn signal out. Okay, next we got this nut back here. Now, just got to do it the same on the other side. Okay, so now I got all the nuts off. Now it's just a matter of wiggling this piece off and undoing any electrical connections from the headlights. Oh. So one thing I didn't realize is I would have to take these marker lights off. I thought there'd be a modular plug behind there that I could just use to get the connections apart, but evidently not. So not a big deal. Just pops out these two screws and okay. So now that I've got all the electrical connections unhooked, I can get this off here and out of the way. Okay, the last piece we got to get off is this cover. 10 millimeter. It's a matter of getting it done. All right, that wasn't so bad. Got the grill off. Got it. This is our condenser we're trying to work on here. This next part's going to be a little bit of a time-consuming piece with getting this new one on. Getting all the vacuum in there, getting, checking for leaks and things like that. So it's late. I'm going to call it a night and we'll pick up tomorrow. All right, we're back. Got my cup of coffee. I'm ready to go get this finished up. So one thing I forgot to really talk about yesterday is when we changed out this compressor, to make it easier to work on, we took out this radiator hose and had the battery out, because we also replaced this line down here. So that's why it's kind of in here kind of wonky. I'm going to take all that back out so we can get this done today, and then go on to the next step. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Let's disconnect these. Okay. one. I can hook it back here somewhere. Okay, in order to get this other pipe disconnected, I'm just going to go ahead and loosen the condenser from the radiator. That way I can move it around as I need to. I think it'll be a lot easier that way. So these guys are pretty much rusted on there. They're not coming off. I'd have to grind them or break them off in order to get them off here. So what I think I'm going to try to do is just pry it gently up and over like so. And then come down to the other end and do the same. Hopefully it'll be that simple. Find the right spot to get underneath it without getting into that radiator. There we go. Okay, you can see what I mean. It's a lot easier to get at once that old one's out of there. Now let's see if we can get this freed. I still have far from mastered how these connections work. But there we go. Okay, I just want to talk about this real quick. Not that I'm some kind of expert, but just from what I've learned. The reason I chose to replace this is because there's options to flush your air conditioning system if you want. But from what I've read, the fins on these are so thin that when you try to flush it, you can't push the flush through there, or it just kind of moves the clog along. So rather than fight it and try to flush it, it's just easier and cheaper in the long run to replace this. This was probably like 80 bucks, I think. So rather than fight it, that's what I chose to do. I guess on the older cars, pre-90s, it's a little bit easier to flush if that's something you want to do or look into. But this is what I'm doing here. So let's go on with the project. Okay, so here's the new one. See what she looks like. I haven't even opened it up yet, so you get to see it with me for the first time. Lovely package. Anybody need a big old box? So here she is. Get her in the car. Okay, we're basically just doing the same thing, just going backwards. Get this guy up here, sort of set into place where she's gonna sit. Just tucked under. These tabs lined up. Oh, I just noticed there's no rubber grommets on these. I'm going to take them off the old one. So I took the grommets off the old one, put them on there. I'll show you kind of what's going on down here. There's also some that go into the frame here. And, oh, yeah, and look at my friend I just found. Hopefully that's in focus. So, bring this up and over. There you go. There's the new one. Piece of cake, right? Okay, so now we just keep working backwards, putting things back together. All right, you can see I got the front end all back together. I didn't record that because I just figured you watch me take it apart. You probably don't want to watch me put it all back together. Just do everything the opposite and you'll be right here. So let's move on to the next step. Manifold set up here, ready to go. This is something I picked up at Harbor Freight. Got that connected to my vacuum pump down here. Right now, everything is set to close. I'm going to connect my low pressure valve here. This valve is also closed. Just to get us started, my high pressure closed. So now, I'll go ahead and open this up. I'll go ahead and open this up. So I got both of these opened up. Come down here, open these guys up. what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to put a vacuum on this, see if it holds, try to help for leaks. Also, we'll drag any air out of there. Now, fire up our vacuum pump. So you see immediately our gauges drop. So we're gonna let that run for about a half hour, see where we're at, and go from there. So we'll be back. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. Our pressures are looking good right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close these valves. I'm gonna close these valves. I'm gonna close these valves. Then I'm going to shut my pump off. So now, still got our negative pressures here, and we're going to let that sit for 45 minutes or so, and just hopefully that will stay the same, and that will just help us ensure that we don't have any leaks. Once we get that done, feel good, we'll then charge the system. Okay, we're finally ready to charge the system. I'm going to close this valve. Close this one, and we're going to leave these two open. Now we're going to start the car up. From there on, I'm going to start adding some freon. Going in there. So you can see where our temperature's at now. We're down to 50. Wow, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm calling it a success. So finally cool again in the Cherokee. Kind of throwing a lot of parts at it, but finally found the right one, the condenser. I think those fins are clogged up, not letting the gases flow there, and the rest is history. So hopefully you learned something off that. Hopefully you enjoyed watching that. Hopefully there's just a little piece of it that you'll just decide to give me a like. Hit that like button. Hey, subscribe if you want to see more of this, or if you want to go on some of our adventures. We got a few also cooking things coming up where we're going to do some things. So a lot going on, and looking forward to doing more. So until the next time, we'll see you. Boom!